guys. Considering there are so many characters in Cyberpunk that would have made a good romance option, but just weren't, I thought I'd put this list together so we can gather all of our pining in one spot. Although, I don't think I'm going to have enough room for the ladies in this video, so I'll give them their own in the next one. Otherwise, I'm not going to have any time to explain why I think these guys would make good romances in the first place. Takamura. Do I really have to say anything more on this? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious he should be a love interest. He's hot, he's funny, he's awesome, and you spend so much time with him. I think it's the biggest letdown in this game that there is no way to get closer to him, even though some texts and dialogue choices tease at the potential. If I had to choose just one guy out of all of these characters that I could get as a guaranteed romance in the game, I would pick Takamura in a second. Victor was actually the first guy I met in this game that I thought would make a good romance. For one, he has an awesome personality. He even has a really cool look. Almost reminds me of this guy I used to work with a long time ago. He also had tattoos up and down his arms and used to wear a mechanic-style shirt just like this. And wouldn't you know it, he also had a really good personality, which was surprising because if you were to just see him and not know him at all, you'd probably think he was a total badass, nasty type of dude, and yet he was incredibly nice and caring. But yeah, I'll stop rambling about the past. It's just that Vic is pretty awesome. And I love how caring and protective he is over V. I really hate how they keep pointing at this aspect of him being too old though. For one, he doesn't look that old to me. And really, I think it should be up to the player whether they're into older guys or not. Granted, some of you are young and probably in your 20s, but I'm creeping up on 40. And Vic does not look that old to me at all. And while to most he's probably not screaming hot, I definitely think his whole package is. Also, back on that age thing, if you can just get a new body, what does age even matter? Yorinobu. Oh, come on, guys. You knew this one was coming. Hook me up with the Emperor's Son right now. I think Yorinobu as a romance option would be freaking amazing. Can you imagine the sort of night on the town this guy could take you out with his unlimited resources? He could take you on some Aladdin-style magic carpet ride. Although, in this case, it would probably be an AV ride. But imagine some of the cool shit you could do with him. And better yet, how amazing would it be to get with him and form a plan together to take Arasaka down? Woo! Get goosebumps just thinking about it. Granted, I've written books worth of fanfiction for my own Emperor-style romance, which probably makes me a bit biased, but still, I think it would be epic. Imagine getting even a glimpse of the inner workings of Arasaka, too, from his perspective. Definitely a missed opportunity with him, I think. Johnny. Okay. It goes without saying that Johnny would have made a pretty epic romance option. If any of you have seen the video I did for Baldur's Gate 3 on the Illithid romance, well, you can probably tell the similarities, but in this case, we're talking a full-on person, a construct that you can interact with, talk with, whenever you want, not just in dreams at their whim. Given you've been able to interact with Johnny too, even though most of the time it was just him reaching through to affect the world, like when he stops the elevator after you leave from visiting Hanako at Embers. I wonder if you guys could actually be intimate like that though. Maybe V would get some toys and it wouldn't actually be happening, but it would be like incredibly realistic VR porn. Okay, I apologize as that just got a little too adult, but I mean, I kind of had to go there to get my point across. It could be really hot, especially considering how close you can get with Johnny. By the end of the game, it almost feels like Johnny is a part of you, like him leaving would be awful and plunge you into despair. So I can't even imagine how mind-blowing he would be as a love interest. You'd probably have some insane fights too. Like, you'd literally be insane or you'd look insane to everybody else. But that's par for the course with someone like Johnny. You know, he's a pain in the ass. That's why we love him. Mateo. Mateo. First guy I ran into during the story that I thought was legit hot, like, ooh, hello, sugar, how are you doing? It's really unfortunate that they didn't do much with his character though. Even if you go back to see him much later in the game, he gives you a little bit of an attitude for asking too many questions about his clients. I guess when it comes to Mateo, since without having the option to get to know him better, it's hard to know if he'd actually make a good romance. I'd be down with him being a Meredith-style fling though, definitely. Saul is another guy I see people wanting to romance pretty often. It's hard for me to personally gauge how the relationship would be, though, considering they're always playing up the feud between him and Panam, almost like he's going out of his way to be stodgy and a pain in the butt. Then again, Panam is constantly wanting to do the most daring thing possible, and Sol doesn't want to risk the lives of his tribe. Still, he's got a good look, and I can dig his caring and rock-like stability for his people. He's always trying to weigh what's best for everyone, and I actually really liked the idea of both him and Panam ruling the Aldecados because they could temper each other, the overly careful and the overly reckless. I think it would have been amazing to be able to romance him on the side of everything, though, and even better if he could have been up with you on that tank in the Aldecados ending. Mitch. Why the heck not? I mean, you spend a good chunk of the game with him, especially if you take the Aldecados ending. He is one of the few characters that you actually get a message from in the ending credits too. It really seems like he should have been an option to romance, especially if they didn't want to give you Sol. I feel like we should have gotten the chance to have at least one of the Aldecado guys. But if I have to be honest, the one I really wanted was Scorpion. He was just so cute and I loved his look. Not to mention he kept making me think of Mortal Kombat, and get over here. It was such a bummer when he died, though. Placide. While his appearance in the game was short-lived, I couldn't get over how awesome this character looked. He was such a badass, and I just wanted him to like me. But then he sent me off to get killed, and when I came back, he just gave me death stares. I don't know if things could have worked out with Placide, given the current game options, but if they were to add new paths, it might be a possibility. Like, imagine if they added another quest before going into the mall, where maybe Placide could grow to trust you a bit more. I'd even be happy with a hate fling. I just thought he was so cool. Jackie. Another romance that would take a lot of tweaking to ever actually happen. They'd have to take away his concrete ties to Misty, as well as make an option for him to actually live past the heist. But either way, I would have really liked the option to romance him. Jackie felt kind of forced at first, especially since they were playing this angle that he was your best choom, and all without you actually having spent any time with him. But he did grow on me, and I really liked how sincere he became as time progressed. The one downside was that he was always so focused on becoming a legend in Night City. Like, what he had was never good enough for him. But I think he could have grown past that if he was allowed to live. It's a real bummer because I would have loved to see where his story would have gone if it had not ended prematurely. And now, a man I know none of you have ever even considered, the sexiest man in all of Cyberpunk. You can find him at the Riot Club, and he is just, well, he's something else. I just love the way he sits there, smoking with his perfectly bald head and nerdy 80s glasses. He almost reminds me of a fat Vin Diesel, but what gets me the most about this hot stud of a man is that low-cut shirt and his moobs hanging out. Such a tease. I mean, how can you go wrong with this guy? It's almost like Fuda. Sorry, but I had to go there. This guy almost feels like he has to have a story behind him because he is just so bizarre. And the little tiny chick sitting next to him that just keeps making small talk with me, what's that about? Anyway, it might seem like I'm finished, but I'm not. There's still one more category. We're going to head into the realm of strangelove, because why not? There are some weird-ass people in this game, and why not be daring and let us romance them? At our own peril, of course. Ozob. Alright, now this one is more dangerous for me than most because I freaking hate clowns. I mean, I'm terrified of them. I have this awful memory of being at a parade when I was a little girl, and this awful clown came up to me and was like, "Would you like a balloon, little girl?" And I just lost it and started crying my head off. And then I saw the movie It when I was older. You know, the old miniseries one, not the new movie, with Tim Curry as the amazing but ridiculously scary Pennywise. And yeah, lifetime of scarring. So while I was doing this quest, I was like, yeah, you mean I have to get into the car with this guy? Surprisingly though, he wasn't that bad, and I absolutely loved the dialogue asking about the grenade on his face. I was just cracking up the whole time, and I completely forgot that I didn't like clowns. I think this would be a hysterical romance option though. Can you even imagine the dialogue? You two are lying in bed and V asks, "Can you take it off so we don't accidentally get blown to bits?" Oh man, I would pay to see that. And if you're talking about Strangelove, you can't leave out Dum Dum. He just seems like one of those incredibly worrisome types. I mean, when you first meet, he wants to do drugs, and he seems like a major hothead. But man, does he look cool. All of those eyes on his head remind me of a spider, which is ironic considering you go to him for the robot that they call a spider. Still, he would definitely be an interesting date. It would probably be something along the lines of the night out that Johnny takes with your body, but with more crazy drugs. And I can imagine him taking you to do something insane like, I don't know, robbing Militech. It might actually be fun. Adam Smasher. You knew I wasn't going to end this video without mentioning good old Smasher as an option. Now, I've seen a lot of people request this guy as a love interest, and while at first I thought it was insane, I mean, the guy's a total creep. The more I thought about it, as one of those strange but potentially fun romances though, the more I thought it could be interesting. So let's say you've got some mega cybernetics going on and maybe even a bit of cyberpsychosis. Then Smasher might start looking a lot better to you. And hey, if you're mostly cyborg, then he won't look down on you as a piece of meat. He'd probably even be interested. Like, okay, you'll do. But most compelling of all, what do you think he's packing down between his legs? I mean, holy crap, imagine the drill sound whirling up as he walks over to the bed. It could be horrifying, it could be hot. I'm not gonna judge either way. So there you go. I will be doing the ladies in the next video, and there are a lot of them as well, so no way I could ever fit them all into one video unless I wanted to make it ridiculously long, and I'm trying to avoid those 40-minute videos if I can. It's just too much work anymore. Anyway, I'm still thinking of expanding on some of these options as well in new videos if I can find the time, like Vic, Yorinobu, and Johnny, all characters that were already pretty heavily integrated into the story. Did any of these eligible bachelors catch your attention in game? Tell me which one and why. Better yet, what about the Strangeloves? Imagine how much replay value there would be if you could make such varying degrees of characters just to romance some of them. Like, if you had to be a doped up cyber junkie to get with Dum Dum, a mostly synthetic human to get with Smasher, and so on. Well, a girl can dream. Maybe one day we'll see that kind of choice in a game. Keep an eye out for the ladies video soon, and if you have any you'd like me to add, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.